It's still happy hour with John Gaskins. This round's on me.
Well, here we go with the guy with the second best jacket at Missouri Valley Football Conference Media Day. He's Matt Vitzthum, the head coach of the USD Coyotes. And, man, I mean, I know you've gotten comments already. So, I mean, what have you heard so far?
Yeah, I've had a lot of comments, which my goal was to make sure everybody talked about this and not what I was saying today. So the goal has been, it's worked. It's been achieved. So, yeah, I'm not much of a dress-up guy, so I credit my wife for this.
That's
so,
even better. That is way better. That's head coaching PR 101, by the way. A little smoke and mirrors.
That's right, baby. Right.
I mean, you haven't been a head coach, but it feels like you've done this thing a time or two. Did you get some advice?
I've watched a lot of these.
Okay.
All right.
Yeah.
I've watched a lot of these. I know what not to do, I think.
Okay.
As much as what to do. So,
all right.
Yeah.
What would be the what not to do?
Don't talk about any other programs, any other schools. Talk about yourself.
Okay.
So that's what we're going to focus on today.
Okay.
Right?
You control the narrative with the interviewer even more so. Just grab a hold of it within the first 2 minutes. No, I will control the narrative because we're going back to that jacket. You said you're a big fan. Are you a big fan of Brockmire? Because the Hank Azaria, Major League Baseball, a fictitious play-by-play announcer, 4 years, dark comedy, very crass. A laugh-a-thon for me. And I found a brother in you with this.
It is very good.
Yes.
I did not watch it live, so it came out on Netflix, I think, like a year ago.
Yes.
And, just one of those late nights trying to get my mind off of becoming the new head coach. It was like, all right, I'll try this. And I got sucked in pretty good. So, yeah.
That'll do the trick.
Yeah.
That show will take you to a bunch of other places.
Yeah.
A bunch of other places.
I know it's good when you're watching it and your wife's like, what are you laughing at? And it's like, I can't help it. It's a good one.
I'd love to ask you your favorite line, but I don't know if that's possible. We're not live on TV like the guys next to us, but this is a family show.
Yeah.
But your jacket is close to the trademark, red and black, for Brockmire. Okay. What have been the most common asked questions today for you? Top two.
Yeah, I would say, obviously, how's the starting quarterback competition going?
Yep.
And how has the first 6-7 months been as the head coach?
Yeah.
So
there you
those
go.
are the top two right now.
Okay, and I asked you those questions about 3 months ago.
Yeah.
There's probably been some developments, but and I'm going to talk to you again before the season starts. But okay, how did the season end with the 3-horse quarterback race? I'm sure you've picked a winner, and you're ready to tell us all this right now.
I'm not going to break it today. Sorry.
Have you really picked a winner?
We have not.
Okay.
No. We're going to head in here, I think, by the end of kind of that first week, 5-8 practices in, we're going to talk about moving a guy kind of into that role and taking all of the reps with the ones.
Yeah.
I think that's kind of been our plan for the first 5-6 months here is, it's been pretty open.
Yeah.
See if a guy can really kind of take a hold of it and keep that job. So, like where we're at, continue to say that, like who we've surrounded them with, more importantly.
Yeah.
And just continue to reiterate, we don't need you to be Aidan Bouman. Be yourself, right?
Yeah.
And that'll be plenty good with those three guys.
You had a few practices, several practices after we last talked. And if there's not like one guy overall that emerged, what did you see? If you want to go through them, bing, bing, bing. Yeah. How would you evaluate what you saw, especially the positives from each guy from spring practice?
Yeah, I think Nevin Cremascoli. Like I know what we know what we're going to get with Nevin, right? And there's a certain level of comfort with that, right? And there's that consistency factor of who he is, right? Austin Majeski, the freshman, would be a redshirt freshman next year. He's got that wow factor. You know what I mean? He's got a big arm. He's going to make some big plays. Just kind of honing in on, limiting the damage of a freshman, right? Yeah. And I think that's going to be key for him in kind of this race. And then Jackson Proctor, for him, his legs, right? His ability to run the football and our ability as a staff to adapt to that type of quarterback. That's kind of the three things I would say kind of coming out of that we think we know about those three guys right now.
Yeah, and, again, I'll bring up a question, but maybe there's a developed answer from 3 months ago. How are you going to, with it feels like three different skill sets.
Yep.
But you also want to have an offense. You have a playbook, so you have an offense. So do you fit the quarterback to the offense? Do you fit the offense to the quarterback that you're going to pick?
I think
you can't start from scratch.
There's a little bit of both to that. Obviously, we're going to have the ability to run the football at South Dakota. Like that's in our DNA. We believe that's how you win football games. and then really trying to find the strength of that quarterback and bring it out, right, schematically. And that's why I talked to you a little bit about early on in camp, trying to make a decision so we as a staff can really start to put that plan together for that guy, right? Because it will be a different plan for each of them. They each have a different skill set. So that's our plan right now. I know we've talked more this summer about what we're going to do schematically in offense than we probably have in a really long time. So we're ready for it. I'm ready for that to play out here in the first, like I said, week or two of fall camp and move forward.
We were talking about what you're going to do, just general approach and philosophy, or what do you mean by that?
I think, how to incorporate the quarterback into your run game, right, and how much to do it. This is a very physical football league, right? Yeah. Like, you can't have that guy having 20 carries a game, but you can't just, hey, we're only going to run him in the big games or the big situations. You can't do that to him, right? Yeah. You've got to have that ability to maneuver through when and how to utilize his legs. One kid might be better using his legs off a drop back pass. He can extend a play and scramble around. Yeah. Another one might be, hey, he's +1 in the quarterback run game. So we're figuring that out. I think we've got a great plan for each guy to bring out their strengths. But once we make that decision, then it's all in and all steam ahead on that.
All right. And then, of course, I have to ask you about Charles Pierre. It was back in the spring. Correct me if I'm wrong. It kind of felt like, hey, he's getting to practice again, but he can't really go full throttle. He's still trying to learn what he can and can't do. You want to be careful. But, again, how'd the last stretch of practice go? And more importantly, how's that leg now?
He's good. He's ready to go. Obviously, LJ had an unbelievable season last year, and he's gotten a lot of credit, and all of those things. I think Charles and Keandre are both ready, kind of itching for their turn. Yeah. Just like any great player, when you sit and watch, you learn a lot, and I think you also are very, very anxious to get back out there. And I think both Charles and Key are both very, very anxious, and we're going to have to utilize both those guys because they're dynamic playmakers that can change a game in a hurry.
It's going to be fun to see Key, man. I mean, he's a rock and roller for sure.
Yeah.
I can't imagine some of the damage you guys could have done if he was just a little more healthy last year.
Yep.
And we've talked about the defense. Chris Dixon, and just as we've mentioned, buried a little bit because he doesn't get a lot of the tackles. Yep. But what do you guys see him do that is so dominant and special, and particularly what do offensive linemen he squares up against experience?
I think Chris Dixon is, I've told you this before, he's one of the most underappreciated people in our building and in our league, right? Yeah. The refusal to be blocked by one person is incredible. You're going to have to take two guys, which if you take two on him, frees up a backer or frees up another D lineman, right? So he has been that steady force in there that plays down in, down out. A guy of that size, his durability, right, his conditioning level, it's second to none. And it's really, really what sets the tone for our defense. Nobody has an appreciation for that unless you're in that film room and you understand exactly what he's doing and how he's doing it. So he's really, really at the forefront. But I think our defensive line is going to be incredible this season. I think we can go 7-8 deep at that position. There's some new faces, there's some old faces, some guys that have really developed. So I think we got a chance to be really good in the trenches, which that's where we want to be built and where you have to be built in this league.
It's tough for me to sometimes ask these questions in this setting because I asked some of these back in spring. Some people heard them, some didn't. I mean, it's been 3 months. People don't remember. But a very important part of this equation is obviously, yes, you as a first-time head coach, but more so the decisions you're making in a game as the guy now, particularly fourth down. Are you going to – I know it depends on where the field is, where on the field you are, to punt, to go for it. It leaned more conservative in the last year with Travis. You had a great defense, so that's great. But with you, where are you coming out right now and how you're going to dial into those situations? Yeah,
I think just trying to do the best I can to have a feel for what's going on in the football game, right? That isn't, I think a really, really poor decision to be go into a game and say, hey, we're going for it on fourth down, right? If we're dominating the line of scrimmage and our backs are continuously falling forward and we're moving, we're going to go for it on fourth down, right? But if we've shown, hey, we're getting some knockback and we're not moving the line of scrimmage and they're moving us, then maybe the decision is to punt it away. So I think, stepping back, not calling plays, right, and having a sense of where the game is and the feel of what's going on in the game, and not letting my emotion get the best of me. I am probably a little bit more emotional than Travis and Bob. I yelled at the officials way too much as an assistant, so I've got to keep that under control.
Okay.
But, yeah, looking forward to that. I really am, those decisions. And just like, a player, you have to get into a game to do it, right?
Yeah.
I wish I could tell you there's going to be a magic thing that I could do, but it's going to be going out there and getting the experience.
Well, be
Saturday.
yourself. Have some fun on that sideline there. We'll get the camera on you, and we'll get the Vitz cam going. Yes, you've answered a zillion questions about being the new head coach and a first-time head coach. How have you seen players respond to you, and maybe, of course, defensive guys because you weren't around them as much, but respond to you and respond to you differently? What are you feeling from them?
Yeah, there is a sense, just like anything when you become the boss, right? There is a sense a little bit of more looking up, and it's like I've really tried to avoid that. I think what got me into this position was the relationships that I had built with players.
Yeah.
So making sure, and this is very hard, and I think I've learned this from all the head coaches last night, having the ability to talk to them, not getting bogged down with all of the other things and still making sure the players are the priority.
Go
ahead.
What do you feel like is the most under talked about sneaky thing that you have going on right now that you're really excited to see pop?
You're saying, that's exciting that our team's going to have?
A play or an aspect, a position group.
I really think both sides of the ball, it may not pop, but I think our offensive line is going to be much improved.
Yeah.
We were pieced together pretty poorly there last year. We made it work. And I think our defensive line, I think watching those two go at it in spring practice was huge. Super excited about where we're at there.
Yeah.
I do think one guy that I'll tell you that I think is primed for a really good season is Braden White. He's a receiver. Okay. We saved his red shirt last year, which we didn't have to do now with the 5-for-5. But excited to watch him.
Yeah.
He's a very, very dynamic player that's going to bring a lot of excitement in that dome.
Okay. Have you seen the preseason poll?
I have.
Where are you guys again?
We're fifth. Yep.
You're fifth. How do you feel about that?
The cliche thing would be to say it doesn't matter and, we're focused on us. But, there is a sense of, that's what people in our league think of us. We're fifth.
Sure.
We're coming off of 3 straight playoff appearances, more Missouri Valley wins than anybody in here. So,
yes. There's sole second place last year.
There is a sense of, hey, the lack of respect in Vermilion is real, and we play to that, right? That's who we are. That's who I am. I know there's doubts and concerns about me, about our quarterback, but that's who we are. We're a chip on the shoulder, blue-collar team, and we'll play into that.
Yeah,
don't worry.
The natural question was going to, yes, are you going to lean into that?
Absolutely.
And you are.
Yeah.
Has there been a consistent lean into that anyway, in your time there?
Yeah, I think you have to go out and earn the respect of this league.
Yeah.
Has been virtually every season I've sat in the team room, that's what it's been, because this is where we're pretty much consistently picked, right? Yeah. We're never ahead of the other Dakotas, right? Somebody always has a better quarterback than us, and they just place us down there in the kind of the middle, and we just say, hey, let's go earn some respect. Yeah. And the only way to really earn the respect, you can talk about it and say this and that, hang it in somebody's locker, but you got to go out in between those white lines, and you got to be about it. And I think I got a group of guys in that locker room that's about it, and we're excited to go show it.
What kind of momentum have you been feeling in the community? If you're out and about, when you're out and about, of the anticipation for not just the football season starting, but where things are headed?
Yeah, I think right now, as an athletic department, there is an extreme amount of excitement of where we're going. Right, we're playing in a lot more meaningful games, a lot more impactful games, and we are starting to have some conversations that I don't think have been had there about national tournaments and national championships and things like that. And pressure is a privilege, right? It's starting to be a little bit more pressure in Vermilion than there ever has to get some things done, which is great. We've earned that. But the community's great. They're behind us. Yeah. They support us. I've told you this from the jump. I love our community. I love Vermilion. It's really kind of who I am, and that's how I grew up. Yeah. So, they're all in. I can tell you that. Their expectations are higher than ever.
Hey, by the way, one last one. You mentioned the coaches got together last night, players. What kind of event was that? What was the setting, and what was
so the coaches, we went out and had dinner together.
Okay.
Obviously I'm the new guy at the end of the table.
Oh, come on.
I wanted to make sure there wasn't a ninth green at 9, a Happy Gilmore or some meeting I wasn't supposed to be at.
Yeah.
But the players, they went to the golf deal there on the end of town.
Okay.
Had dinner. Guy said it was awesome to interact
Did they go
with.
to Great Shots?
Great Shots.
Okay,
yeah,
very good.
Yep. We didn't go. We got to go do dinner, so it was great. All the head coaches in here have been awesome to me, you know what I mean, as the kind of the new. I told them, I'm like, this is the third guy now in 3 years that you guys have had to sit with, so hopefully we can make it a few more than one.
Yeah, well, good. And you felt right at home, right? You're comfortable in that?
Yes and
no. Are you
no,
comfortable in those situations?
Yeah, I mean, we'll make it work. Yeah,
Okay.
Yep. Need a little bit more experience in those situations, but we're going that direction.
Does bourbon help?
Old-fashioned helps.
Okay. That's right. You're the old-fashioned guy. That. Okay. Some of these guys are straight, like Brock's back. Straight bourbon.
Yeah.
Travis Johansson, straight bourbon.
Yeah.
But I'm with you. Let's get a
little something in there.
Come on. Let's get it's okay to put a little sugar in there.
I agree.
Not too much.
Yep.
Hey, appreciate it. Thank you very much for doing
this.
Thank you.
Thanks for as always.
You
Thank
bet.
you. Yep.
Matt Vitzthum, head coach of USD.